Happy Tuesday to all you beautiful radio listeners. Thank you for dropping in on our little happy hour. We appreciate you listening. If you're watching on YouTube, here's a hand gesture just for you. YouTubers, feel free to hit us up on the chat. If you're listening on the radio through 105.1 FM, 1080 AM, on the 105.1thefan.com, Odyssey.com, the Odyssey app, or you just ask your smart speaker to make you dumber. Use the fan text line. It's 503-2GO-FAN. That's 503-864-6326. Use it. Use the chat and the text to share your thoughts, ask questions, solicit advice, or answer me this, dear listeners. Have you ever been booed? Casey, for those who don't know, you are also the very famous rapper Lowercase. Have you or your alter ego ever been booed? And was it justified?
No, but I've definitely gotten some groans.
Groans probably count as boos.
Then yeah.
Like, you ever have anybody wait for you after a show to try to fight you?
No, not quite that bad.
Did you ever have a woman threaten to stab you after a show only to discover that you both had the same birthday and you had to pull out your ID to show her that it was your birthday so she wouldn't be mad at you because some of the jokes that you told at a sleazy bar on the outskirts of Las Vegas didn't fit with her expectations of what it was going to be, and the only way you got out of the fight was by matching birthdays, and then you all had drinks together and hung out for a while afterwards?
Wow.
I'm just wondering if that ever happened to you.
No.
Just me?
Can't say it has.
Just me? That's one thing about doing stand-up comedy. I'm with you. I've gotten a lot of groans, boos. I've bombed as bad as you can. I once tried to record a show. When I lived in Hawaii, I would do these really long sets basically whenever I wanted to. And then I was moving to LA. I was like, let me get something on tape. The mic did not work all night. That was the worst one because it wasn't even that it was boos. Nobody could hear me.
I think it
was cutting in and out. Yeah, that was by far the worst one. Yeah, I'll keep it short. But that was the worst feeling. Wasn't not performing well. It was not having the equipment work. That was the worst one that I ever had. My favorite time I ever booed anybody was for my brother. He graduated from Warner Pacific College. Do you know anybody that's gone to Warner Pacific?
Yep.
Okay. How many people do you know that went to Warner Pacific?
One person in the building that I live in walks around with a Warner Pacific backpack.
Yeah,
one of my childhood best friends went to Warner Pacific.
Okay, so if you know anything about the school, or at least this was my brother's experience at the school, he never went to this actual school. Maybe a group project here or there, but it's an off-campus university. It's you take everything online. There is a facility you can go to or whatever. So he didn't know anybody, and nobody really knew him. So there's not like, oh, you guys were great friends there. It's an adult education primarily, the way that I understand it. I didn't go there. So we go to his graduation. So we're sitting there and watching everybody go through the ceremony. And it's like, this guy. And then there's like 7 people for him sitting near the front. And then you get a, where? And then it's like this lady. And then there's like another group of 10 people back here. And it's like, where? But nobody knows the valedictorian. There's not like a big rousing ovation. It's the family of adult people that went back to school later to get their degree, and they have no idea who these other people are. So I'm watching as it goes. It's these little yay, yay, all around the thing. So I'm like, well, I have to do something different for my brother when he gets up there. And nobody had done it yet, so he went up as loudly as I could, which you've heard me speak. It's fairly loudly. So from the back center of the auditorium at Warner Pacific, as loud as I could, boo! Oh, yeah. Nobody joined in with the rousing boo, but it certainly got everybody's attention. And you could it was me booing and then the sound of 700 people shuffling in their seats to look back to see who was booing, then looking at the stage to see who was being booed. And as far as I know, he's told me that he appreciated it. He thought it was funny, but he may be broken inside, but he will never admit it. But I still think, from my perspective, I thought it was pretty good.
That's a good booing.
I thought so.
At least I can appreciate the boo.
Yeah.
The one of being threatened to get stabbed and
Oh yeah,
the
this
mic's not
lady,
working.
this
Fella's hurt.
All her friends were like, he was funny, he was trying. You have to push the envelope. It's comedy. And then I'm like, this woman's like, everything you said was just the worst. Da, da, da. And she was like, ready. It was literally our birthdays. It was, and the funny thing was, not only did we have the same birthday, like it was the birthday eve show. So it was June 27th, and then like the next day, she's like, I just came out to celebrate my birthday, and I'm like, oh, my birthday's tomorrow, and she's like, my birthday's tomorrow, and then it turned into this whole thing where we just ended up, breaking bread and pouring drinks and having shots and whatever, and turned into an entirely different evening than she had planned when she approached me after the show. So.
Tucked the switchblade back in her pocket.
Yeah, she did. Luckily, nobody was stabbed, which was a wonderful way for the evening to end. The reason that I bring this up, Bo Bichette said that he understands the Mets fans' boos. He said, my at-bats were terrible. That is one of those things where I know as a pro athlete, you're probably conditioned to like block out all of the fans and all of the things. Bo Bichette got paid a lot of money to go to New York to play for the Mets. He was just a World Series hero, but not for them. And obviously they didn't win the whole thing, but you go out and that's your big acquisition. You lose some guys they've known there for a long time. You don't even make it through the weekend without getting booed by your new team. But he gets it. Nobody's probably more upset after a bad showing.
Again, no one is harder on themselves than professional athletes who know that they should be, again, performing at a caliber better than what they're showing.
Yeah. So not a great start in New York for poor Bo Bichette, but hopefully things will improve. It's $126 million worth of booze raining down on him in the opening weekend. I find that to be hilarious. A weekend that should go better for everyone involved is happening in Pittsburgh. They are getting ready to welcome the nation to the unofficial beginning of the football season, and the city's kickoff celebration will begin with the unforgettable invite-only night of music. They're calling it the Night Before. It takes place Wednesday, April 22nd at the Rivers Casino Event Center, featuring Jason Aldean, John Morgan, and Shane Prophet. Visit Odyssey.com/thenightbefore to enter now for your chance to win this national contest. The prize includes round-trip airfare, a 2-night hotel stay, and 2 tickets to the show. You should probably do that. And if you win and don't want the prize, just call me in lowercase. We'll happily take it off of your hands. I don't think we're allowed to win.
Sadly, I think that's a conflict of interest.
I can't. I couldn't say. But if you win, I don't know why you wouldn't be able to. You know what? There's contest rules. They're all on the website. Why don't you look at those? Then we'll figure out what to do from there. I don't need to say anything out of turn. Speaking of winning contests, how about this? A contract worth $95 million, up to $130 with incentives, without taking a single major league at bat. Who is the guy that just got that contract? His name is Colt Emerson. He is technically a Seattle Mariner, even though he's playing for the Tacoma Rainiers. He is a shortstop prospect. He is a 5-tool player. He apparently has a work ethic, a personality, a drive, a way about himself at 20 years old that convinced the Mariners that it was worth to sign this. This is the largest contract ever given to a player yet to make their major league debut.
Right now, he's 5 of 14 with 1 home run through 3 games.
Okay. I mean, his slash line in the minors, 285, 383, 458. So he's obviously been good. The Mariners obviously see a lot of promise in him. They've now locked him up in this 8-year contract. So you've got him for a long time. He is going to make a lot of money. This is it's a big commitment, but at the same time, it's not a salary cap sport, so you don't have to worry about it locking up a bunch of money that you can't use elsewhere. If he ends up being the player that they think he can, this is a steal.
They got him for a really good price.
Well, I mean,
you can get some solid
assuming that he turns into what they expect him to be. I mean, the best off-season signing maybe ever. What did they pay Cal Raleigh last year? And then he goes out and hits 60 home runs. So they pay a catcher to be a catcher. And, if you can hit 35 home runs every year, that'll be great. Hit 245, do what you do. He goes out and hits 60. So they have at least forecasted well to this point. They've got Julio locked up. They've got Cal locked up. They're now committed to Colt Emerson for the long haul. It makes me wonder, and I still don't know the answer to this, what is their plan for this season? You would expect him to be up at some point, but you don't want to bring up a kid if he doesn't have a spot. And I've said it before, I'm waiting for him to go out and make it impossible for them not to bring him up. I think that's what it has to be. J.P. Crawford, good enough to keep his starting spot without evidence to this kid is just too good for AAA. So I think that's where we're at. Still, I don't think this necessarily changes that timeline. It's just a matter of when. It's not a matter of if. Hopefully sooner than later, just for the excitement factor. I mean, we're coming off a weekend where Chase DeLauder went out. That kid only played because he had his foot broke twice. This is Chase DeLauder. Broke his foot twice. He was a first-round pick, and he played like 130 minor league games was all he played. And they wanted to bring him up, different opportunities. They finally brought him up in the postseason last year. He gets out there and has 4 home runs in the opening weekend. So things went pretty well for him. I don't want to say that I'm jealous of anybody. The Mariners had they split for the weekend series. They've got 1 win already against the Yankees, which gets me closer to my slices of pizza. We'll figure that out. We've got 2 more games. I don't want to get overconfident in that. But there is something really exciting about having a farm system and have it actually emerge on your roster. I know Cole Young is there looking good, but Colt Emerson, Ryan Sloan, Cade Anderson, Laz Montez, there's all these guys that you're sitting there going, man, it sure would be fun to see that. But you look at your roster and go, pretty good too. So it's exciting. You know that you have Colt Emerson for a long time. This does not feel like a signing that you make so that you can use him as trade fodder down the road. He will not turn into a Harry Ford, in my estimation.
Do you think Emerson gets called up before Connor Griffin gets called up?
Honestly, I have no idea. I think a lot of it has to do with the health of J.P. Crawford's shoulder, and it's just
necessity.
Not even necessity. I think the more likely scenario is that Emerson forces the hand of the Seattle Mariners and plays so well with the Tacoma Rainiers that they have no choice. I think that's what it is. I don't know how long a stretch has to go of him just absolutely crushing and knocking the cover off the baseball for that to happen. I think that's what they're waiting for. Unless the shoulder thing ends up being something. But, hey, I mean, who was the game-winning run last night for the Seattle Mariners? It was Leo Rivas, and that's your starting shortstop, at least right now, while Crawford is on the IL. And that's a guy that made big hits in big moments in the postseason last year and is a good utility player. You have Ryan Bliss on the roster in Seattle, who is a middle infielder, can play shortstop, has played second. He was your opening day second baseman last year before he got hurt. So that's the thing. You have a good major league roster. I think this is a case where it's dude's going to have to kick the door down and just go, you can't keep me at AAA. I'm too good for this.
Make it undeniable.
Yeah, I think that's what it has to be. Speaking of undeniable, it's undeniable that you guys all want some In Case You Missed It. In case you missed it, golf legend Tiger Woods told police he was distracted by his phone and radio before flipping his SUV, leading to an arrest on suspicion of DUI. Woods refused the drug tests, telling officers that he'd been testing drugs and combinations of drugs all morning and just wanted to get to the mothership so he could relax on planet Thumpasaurus. So he was not in the mood for any of their drug tests. He had conducted his own. Do you know why he wanted to get to Thumpasaurus?
No.
Wanted to make his funk the P-Funk. Are you not familiar with the P-Funk? Do you not know?
Is that George Clinton?
That is Parliament Funkadelic, led by George Clinton. In case you missed it, Timberwolves star Anthony Edwards missed the opening tip-off against the Mavericks last night. When asked why he wasn't on the court, Ant-Man was brutally honest, saying, I was taking the Browns to the Pro Bowl. Sounds like Edwards is almost as excited as I am about Browns quarterback Shedeur Sanders switching from number 12 to 2, because he also added, I know my timing wasn't great, but everybody knows sometimes you plan to pass, but when there's too much pressure and old number two, the passes turn into runs, and you can't. Sorry, kind of want to do one of those every day for the end of time.
I think you might have to.
But I also love the Magic City jokes, and I haven't worked one of those in because the Atlanta Hawks haven't been in the. We'll figure it out. In case you missed it, LeBron James tied Kareem Abdul-Jabbar for the most career wins in NBA history with a triple-double performance against the Washington Wizards. Can we just save everybody some time with the LeBron achievements and just make him a jacket or a robe or a WWE-style belt that just says oldest, manliest old man in NBA history, and stop announcing every time he is tied or breaking some weird record for the most missed third-quarter free throws when trailing by double digits against a sub-500 Eastern Conference opponents on Mondays in March in NBA history. Come on. Did you know that Kareem had the record for most wins? Is that a stat we keep in the...
I don't think that's a stat we should care about much.
In case you missed it, Celtics head coach Joe Mazzulla aggressively dismissed the NBA Coach of the Year award this week, calling it, quote, stupid, and insisting that credit belongs to the players and the assistant coaches. He told reporters, I think it's a stupid award. I really don't ever want to be asked about it again. It's just that dumb. Now, I know what you're thinking. This might seem like an overreaction, but you have to understand where Joe comes from. Just ask him to show you the scars from the Christmas of 1999 when he mistakenly gave his father a world's best dad mug. It did not... Apparently, the Mazzulla household does not do individual achievement. That is not something that they do. In case you missed it, NFL owners approved a massive contingency plan this week, allowing the league's command center to assist replacement referees with clear and obvious foul reviews in case of a normal referee work stoppage. Honestly, the only thing the league is upset about is that they were actually trying to avoid humans altogether. Apparently, Fox executives have officially given up on trying to explain to Jerry Jones that Cletus the robot isn't real and therefore cannot step in to officiate games.
Cletus?
Cletus. His name is Cletus. That is not a made-up part of that story. And finally, in case you missed it, the New York Jets head coach Aaron Glenn told reporters today that he believes that quarterback Geno Smith will lead the team to the promised land. Glenn Smith, Jets, promised land. Glenn recently claimed his superpower is calling defensive plays after his Jets finished 31st in the NFL in defense. Smith threw a league-high 17 interceptions for the Raiders, and the Jets went 3-14 last season. Aaron Glenn took a nap at the Combine. Geno Smith had his jaw broken when a teammate punched him, and the Jets have been 15 seasons without a playoff appearance. Glenn, a defensive head coach, somehow led his team to 0 interceptions in 2025, and the team that Smith just left went to the Super Bowl a season after making minimal changes, including ousting him as their quarterback. The Jets currently have a 57-year Super Bowl drought. I'm sorry, what was I actually talking about? I cannot actually remember. That's right. But think about it the other way. The last time the Jets were good, they went to back-to-back AFC Championship games when they were led by foot fetish and butt fumble. So maybe it's not that. Casey, you're a little bit younger. You may know them better as their new nicknames, Chompers and Knife Fight. So maybe that's... No? Is that... All right. Thank you to our studio audience. Hey, at 2:30, we're going to go play the fun game called Play-by-Playback. I hope there's a lot of baseball sound, but Casey's in charge of this, so we'll listen back to the weekend that was and more, and we'll try to see if we can hear the calls and see if there's any clues to what might happen as we move forward in the sports calendar. But right now, we need to talk a little bit of Seahawks off the field news. We'll bounce around the NBA a little bit. We'll take a look at the world of Major League Baseball. It's all in the Daily Buzz. We do it next on Happy Hour. This is 105.1 The Fan.
Plan on
Well, I don't know how exciting this news is to everyone, but I dipped my toe in the water to Hard Knocks for really the first time last season with the Bills. I gotta admit, I didn't make it all the way through, but like the early part of the process, Josh Allen, some of that was pretty fascinating, and I kind of got into it, but then the season started, and I was like, I'm out. I'd rather watch actual football. Well, this year, they're trying to draw everybody in, 2 teams to be featured on Hard Knocks. How about your Super Bowl matchup? It will be the Seattle Seahawks and the New England Patriots. This will be the first time a defending Super Bowl champ will be on Hard Knocks. I find this Seahawks team to be fascinating. There is obviously a lot of things that we've already talked about, how they're different. Mike Macdonald, the first play-calling defensive coach to win a Super Bowl, so actually having the head coach call plays in the Super Bowl. He's the first guy ever to do that. This free agency period and this offseason, they let a couple guys go at the top, tried to retain basically everybody. 62 out of 70 guys on their roster have been re-signed to come back, while the rest of their division has gone out and changed just about everything that they're doing, going out and getting an entirely new secondary for the Rams, getting new offensive weapons for the 49ers, going out and getting a whole new team for the Cardinals. It'll be interesting to see if their way of doing things is going to be successful in the long run. I've already mentioned this. Very weird season last year. There was not a clear favorite until very late. People started kind of looking at the Seahawks as a potential Super Bowl team. I think most people had them pretty neck and neck with the Rams. And if you watch the NFC Championship game back, you'll see that was pretty accurate. So I don't think that they were head and shoulders above everybody else. They benefited from the rest of the top teams kind of receding back a little bit to the pack, and they were able to jump up and grab something. But now Mike Macdonald has said that, this is not a matter of defending a champ. The 2026 team is a whole new team. We're not defending anything. Watching that on Hard Knocks should be pretty entertaining.
I think a lot of it, I feel like we're going to see a lot of more procedural side of Hard Knocks than we have in the past. The only difference I say that is because what's the one thing that really separates Seattle from the rest of the league?
2,000 miles up in the Pacific Northwest. Not remote wilderness. They are the first team ever to win with the same general manager, an entirely different team, and the way that the coaching staff, there's not a single repeat champion winner on that. Their process is unique.
And I think it's also because of the special teams. I think when you have so much success in special teams and you look around the league, not a lot of teams have as much success as Seattle does.
Not a look around the league. Not every team has a Harbaugh running their special teams. Am I right?
The Buzz.
Oh, good news if you are a Mariners fan. Not that they beat the Yankees. That was nice. Not that Cal finally got a hit and a real meaningful hit, although that was nice. Not that Luis Castillo continued being the master of cold weather games in 50 degrees or lower. Luis Castillo has pitched 27 innings. You care to guess how many runs he's given up?
6.
0 runs in 27 innings. He has a perfect ERA in sub 50 degree weather. That continues. Good news, but not the best news. Would you like to know what the best news is?
Give it to me.
Did you stick around and watch after Cal got his single in the bottom of the ninth?
I turned off the TV immediately after I saw that ball go through the infield.
Well, if you go back and watch it, there's a moment in the celebration, little pat on the butt from Randy Arozarena to Cal. The beef is over. Whatever happened with the handshake in the World Baseball Classic, that has been, it's now water under the bridge. It has been put behind us. We can finally move forward. Everything is right in Mariners land, so we can finally be happy.
The Buzz.
Hey, you know who can't be happy? Did you notice anything about your manager last night? Despite going 5-0 in ABS challenges, somehow, something that should make it easier for managers to go, hey, at least we got the call right. Hey, good challenge. There was five challenges before the end of the fourth, I believe, in that game. It just made Aaron Boone matter? What is wrong with this guy? Do him and Dan Hurley go to the same therapist? Like, I don't know what is enraged this guy so much. Hurley wins a game and headbutts a referee. Boone wins 5 challenges and is more irate yelling at everybody. What is wrong with your manager?
Not good things.
Not good things
Not
are wrong.
good things.
That guy faces some
I just think there's a
demons.
lot of scrutiny towards umpires more than ever now. And again, managers are now getting in real time, hey, pal, you missed that call.
Yeah.
Let me show you.
Well, but the fact that you can show them and it gets corrected right then and there, my curiosity, and I'm sure there's somebody tracking this, is you have the automatic balls and strikes correcting the umpire's behavior. My question is, if you have 5 overturned calls by one team early in a game, will that affect the way that they're calling balls and strikes the rest of the game? I'm sure somebody's tracking it, but is it possible to, in-game, correct somebody's zone? That's what I'm curious about, because almost all of those...
It's a really good point.
If almost all of those were low in the strike zone, and I don't know that there was a challenge after the 4th inning. Now, the Mariners almost barely ever challenge, it seems like, but there have certainly been some teams that are challenge happy. So that would be my curiosity.
But if I'm challenging a bunch of pitches low in the zone and I happen to have the best 6-7 hitters in the MLB, that's going to really make a difference.
Well, no, it is. But again, I'd be curious. I'm sure somebody is tracking it. What does it do to the umpires? Because at some point, right now, they're probably very reactionary. In a emotional way right now. Will they be reactionary as the season goes on in a competency? Will they go, oh, well, yeah, that's 2 in a row that they've called low. I mean, maybe I should adjust my zone slightly. It's kind of wild. We'll see.
The Buzz.
A couple big things. Oh, man. The unanimous approval by the NBA Board of Governors has made it official. The Blazers have new ownership. What does that mean for the team? I have no idea. Like, he was a good hockey owner. Cool. He wasn't the only owner, and who knows, how much the arena needed to be fixed up or whatever. But all indications are that this is a good thing for the Portland Trail Blazers. This is somebody that's going to be invested in it. We've seen all of the approvals go through one by one to get Moda Center a refresh. You have a new ownership. The best thing for me, people can finally shut up about Jody Allen. I'm kind of over that. Like, do you even know what an owner does on a day-to-day basis? Do you really know how much it affects a team on a day-to-day basis? I know Mark Cuban is really upset that he sold it to the wrong guys, and now the Dallas Mavericks are terrible. And I don't know what any of these guys actually do on a day-to-day basis, but people can finally shut up about it.
Again, I couldn't tell you what Dan Rooney is doing.
Yeah,
at all.
Exactly. What is the Steinbrenner Trust doing right now? You have any idea? Neither do I.
The Buzz.
All right, final thing, and we'll go. The Clippers are on a 5-game win streak. This is one of 2 games in the final stretch. Blazers head-to-head with the Clippers. It feels like it is most likely locked in that you could have these 2 teams playing head-to-head. When you get to the play-in game, the question remains, where will they play? Suns are sitting at 42-33. They are in the 7th seed. They're probably not going to catch the Rockets. They're probably not going to be caught by the Clippers. The Blazers are game and a half clear of the Warriors unless they really stumble down the stretch. They should not be caught by the Warriors, which means they will be an 8 or a 9 seed. The Clippers can only be caught by the Blazers. It feels like, obviously, things can go the other way, which means the Clippers are an 8 or 9 seed. So that means you have these 2 teams playing twice in the final week and a half of the NBA season, and then they will play each other again. So you can almost look at these as play-in style, play-in for the play-in games. So, I mean, if you think it's fun to watch the NFL figure out their playoff standings at the end and every game is a playoff game down the stretch, this is the play-in equivalent in the NBA. So, Clippers, Blazers tonight. Gozers. All right, let's take a walk over to the George McCoy at Warren Island Sports Desk and see what we missed. It's a little less exciting when it's for where you're going to rank in the play-in, but
This SportsCenter update is brought to you by USA Basketball. The 2026 Nike Hoop Summit is coming to the Moda Center on April 11th. Get your tickets at usab.com/tickets. First on the fan, UConn head coach Dan Hurley went on Get Up ESPN this morning and downplayed his interaction with an official on Sunday, saying he thought the referee was looking to give him a chest bump to celebrate. If you didn't see it, right after Mullins hit the go-ahead shot, Hurley, with his suit jacket hanging off his shoulder, walked towards an official as the two appeared to bump heads before they walked away in opposite directions. How can we compare this to the Kirk Cousins, you like that moment?
I don't know. I need to compare it to that. This is just one of the things about college sports that are so bizarre to me. The amount of, I don't know, testosterone or insanity or emotion that goes through these coaches. I mean, it's funny. I mean, I know I made fun of Joe Mazzulla saying that, their coach of the year award is dumb. It should be about the players, all the people behind the scenes that do everything to get it going. College basketball, it's a whole lot about the head coach. And partly because the players are rotating through, but UConn is Dan Hurley, and Dan Hurley is UConn for the foreseeable future. I mean, he got that offer from the Lakers. It doesn't seem like he's going anywhere. So Storrs, Connecticut, if you don't like what's going on now, get ready to not like it for the next 30 years because they are linked, it feels like, for a very long time.
Did it feel like Kirk Cousins walking through the locker room yelling, "You like that"?
That wasn't the thing that I got. It feels a little more Bobby Knight throwing a chair, thinking that whatever he does is the right thing to do, and it's just the rage. He's just swearing all over the court about, I knew that ass was going in, or whatever it was. Like,
again, you see his mom's reaction to the shot.
She
was dropping all of them.
Dude, the Hurley family is a pretty tight-knit community, so I'm not surprised by that reaction at all. But again, you represent a organization, an institution of higher learning. He doesn't look at it that way. This is my show. Whatever.
For more sports scores and stories in 30 minutes, I'm Casey Smith from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt and missing work? Insurance companies acting like jerks? Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
Sports Saturday with Joe Fisher.
Pocket? Oh yeah. That's my practice dog, sorry.
Next run wins it. The 2-1. Hit hard. Fair ball. Cal Raleigh walks it off against the Yankees.
That was from last night's Seattle Mariners victory over the Yankees.
You left out the MVP chance before he did that. It was not in the clip.
That would have made the clip much longer. But, again, checking in on our bet, you're up 1-0.
I am up 1-0, but more importantly, what that clip predicts moving forward. It was, again, great to get the victory, fantastic to have a very cold night in Seattle turn your way, to win without home runs, which is something that the Mariners have not done in recent years, or hell, in the opening series. The nice thing is I see that being the end of the slump for Cal Raleigh. I think you're going to see somebody that is going to take that more patient approach, just make good contact, not trying to hit 60 home runs in the first weekend of baseball is probably something that is going to get you closer to hitting 45 home runs or 40 home runs, which would be just fine. I think Cal felt like he had a big season that he was required to live up to, starting out with 11 strikeouts in your first 16 at-bats or whatever it was. Not a great look. That's the Cal Raleigh I want to see. The guy that when you get up in those big moments can make those big hits. So,
100%. I think that was
win.
The one that got the monkey off the back for
yep,
him.
there you go.
Munetaka Murakami leads things off here for the White Sox. Deep drive into right field. Back it goes. Look at the power from Mooney. His first big league home run comes here in the ninth.
Well, that one a no-doubter. As soon as that left the bat, you could tell that that was headed for home run territory.
That was Munetaka Murakami hitting a home run in his debut for the Chicago White Sox. We've talked about him a few times on here. How just impressive has this start been for Murakami?
There's been a lot of impressive starts out there, and he is certainly one of them, but it shouldn't be a surprise. I mean, the transition from Japanese baseball to Major League Baseball has been a pretty smooth transition for a whole host of players in recent years. It is not, something that should surprise anybody that comes over, and their power translates, their poise translates, their on-base percentage translates, and we've just seen it again and again. I remember the debut of Hideo Nomo and people just not knowing what they were looking at. Now, he had one of the most unique windups in baseball history, regardless of origin, and so it was one of those things that felt like an anomaly. I think that anomaly is done. I mean, we've seen them win, 2 World Baseball Classics, or did they win 3? But the Japanese players are as good as anybody in the world. So coming over and hitting for power, for average, for both, for the ability to pitch and hit. I mean, I don't think anybody should be surprised by anything anybody does from Japan.
How do you feel about his nickname? They've been calling him Mooney.
I don't know where the nickname came from, but what is the nickname of the guy that caught 2 of his 3 home runs over this weekend wearing the Japanese World Baseball Classic hat, standing in the same spot, caught 2 balls in Milwaukee? That's amazing.
A Diamondback debut for Michael Soroka. Got him! Michael Soroka strikes out the side in the 5th. It's an immaculate inning. How about that in your Diamondback debut with a home opener?
That was Michael Soroka with the immaculate inning. Went out there and just carved on his Arizona Diamondbacks debut, trying to find the full list. But
there are 122 pitchers, 122 immaculate innings that have been thrown in baseball history. The crazy part of that is it is a much more often occurrence. I don't know if that was a good sentence. It occurs a whole lot more often now than it once did. Between 1929 and 1952, there were 0. In 2022, there were 7, including one in the same game by the same team against the 3 same batters with 2 different pitchers. That was the Astros in 2022. Was it against the Tigers? I had it somewhere.
There was 3 last year alone with Cal Quantrill, Brandon Young, and Mason Miller all throwing immaculate innings.
Yeah, so in 2022 on June 15th, the Astros against the Rangers had 2. In the second, Luis Garcia mowed down Nathaniel Lowe, Duran, and Miller. And then in the 7th, reliever Phil Matten went out and struck out the same 3 guys in 9 pitches exactly the same way. So as excited as I'd like to get about this, everybody throws the ball real hard. And it is far less surprising when it happens, but still very, very cool. Could you imagine bringing somebody that never watched baseball to the ballpark and just go, watch this. This is going to be awesome. This guy's really good. And it's like 9 pitches, and they're like, okay, and that's over. Wait, what just happened? Oh, you just struck everybody out. Well, that was boring. You're like, no, it was awesome. Let me explain why. Yeah, less awesome now than it used to be, that's for sure.
Chase going the other way. Deep left field. Rosarina on the run. He's out of room. It's out of here. DeLauder with an opposite field home run has done something no Cleveland player has ever done before. He's hit a home run in each of his first 3 regular season games, and he's given the Guardians a big 6-3 lead.
How about that? He tried to sneak the heater by him, and he was waiting for it, and there's the strength and the power of this young man going the other way. Wow.
That was Cleveland Guardians Chase DeLauder, who's having an impressive start to the season. In 21 at-bats, he has 6 hits, 5 RBIs, 1 walk, 7 strikeouts, and 4 home runs.
Yeah, I mean, he's off to a great start. Congratulations, young man. It's all downhill from here. Yeah, thanks for going out and making the Mariners look dumb over your opening weekend. This is a big story. Baseball is a marathon. It is a very long season. I mentioned this earlier. This is a guy that had health issues when he was in the minor leagues, only played 130 games. I hope he can stay healthy and continue to do what he does. But all these numbers, do you know who they compare to? Who is the bell cow for the hottest start in Major League Baseball history?
Is it Trevor Story?
Trevor Story. He's a good player. He's pretty good. I mean,
Still playing?
He's hitting 150 right now for the Red Sox after a slow weekend or whatever, so he's not off to a hot start this year. But he's a career like 260 hitter or whatever it is. He's good. He's a good player. But he started out with the Rockies. He came out with this big... He's a pretty good player. So
yeah, he was...
You can get excited about it if you want to, but
they wanted him to be the next Mike Trout.
Well, of course they did. I mean, you get that. So we're turning this DeLauder kid into the next whoever. Maybe he ends up being all-time, but a 4-game stretch does not make you Mike Trout. It does not make you Aaron Judge. It does not make you Bobby Witt
It
Jr.
can make you Josh Hamilton.
It can certainly make it Josh Hamilton. If you have 2 good years as a pitcher, you'll be in the Cubs Hall of Fame, but that's all you're going to get. So it's do it for a long, extended period of time, and I just hope he stays healthy and can do that. But saves these great performances for another team. He's already done it to the Mariners. He can do it against the rest of the league at spots. But I don't need to see him again anytime soon.
That's all I got for you.
All right. Well, hey, I was going to do the Immaculate Inning as one more for the road if you didn't get to it, but I've actually got kind of a sad story. We lost a Hall of Famer. I will tell you who it is when we do one more for the road. We will do it next. You're listening to Happy Hour on 105.1 and the Fan Sports Network.
The new
All right, if you missed anything from the show, podcast, 1051thefan.com, Odyssey.com, Odyssey app, or I just sent out a tweet with Casey's home phone number since he wouldn't give it out on the show yesterday, so it is out there. Just go on the internet. You can find it. Lowercase, what are people saying on the YouTube and the text toy?
Joel on the YouTube chat is saying, I vote that I have to wear a Mariners hat on Thursday if the M's win the series.
You have to wear a Mariners hat.
I won't wear a hat.
No.
But I do have a shirt jersey.
A jersey.
I do.
You'll rock a Mariner. Well, listen, I'm happy with the pizza. You don't need to add anything on the bet. Don't worry about that. I will enjoy my escape from New York slices.
If it's a clean sweep, I'll wear the shirt.
Hey, works for me. Here's the one thing that I know is the Mariners will not be swept by the Yankees in this series. So I'm very confident in saying that at this moment right now. Hey, let's. We only got a little time and we got a tough story. Let's do one more. I'll tell you, it is tough when you lose a 5-time world champion and a Hall of Famer. I think everybody will know this story. Raised on the mean streets of Oakland to become a surfing champion, Sugar, the surfing dog, passed away at 16 after a battle with cancer. Sugar was a rescue dog found on the streets of Oakland and became a surfing legend in Huntington Beach and what is the word that I'm looking for? A therapy dog. Passed away. It's a tough one. Tough day. Big thanks to everybody for listening. Big thanks to Casey Smith. Big thanks to Sugar the surfing dog. And of course, thank you, Isaac Ropp. We're all done for now. Bye-bye.
Always look on the right side of life. For life is quite absurd, and death's the final word. You must always face the curtain with a bow. Forget about your scene, give the order.
Nicer weather means it's time for some exterior upgrades to the home. Hey, it's Dirt here for Homesy. Most home improvement companies specialize